everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Instruction Manual Not Included. I'm your host, Karasu, and
I'm Pazzi.
And today we're going to be covering Magic Sword. Last week we covered Nosgoth. We're going to be doing something a little bit different from that this week, so hope you're ready.
A little bit old school.
A little
today.
bit old school.
This game was released in, 92 on the SNES?
92 on the SNES, 1990 in the arcade version. And of course we're going to handle this without any assistance. We'll be doing this Instruction Manual Not Included.
Alright, so what have you been doing and playing for this past week?
Well, obviously I've been playing this game, Magic Sword. And aside from that, I've been working on my own website for my future endeavors, as well as getting ready to bust out some new stuff for the live stream, get a little more off the ground. Other than that, not too much.
Alright, sounds
Keeping
pretty
busy.
good.
Yeah.
You gotta show me the website once it's actually, viewable.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's a secret right now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Then you gotta show me.
I will.
Don't leave me in the dark, man.
I'll leave the lights on for you. I'll put a little nightlight.
I have been, oh god, what have I been playing? I played a lot of Fez the other day. I just sat here and I was like, I don't feel like doing anything, so I'm gonna play Fez because it's one of my favorite games. So it's a nice wind down. Because prior to that, I was playing a lot of Dark Souls too.
That game is gonna destroy you.
It is. It really is. I'm enjoying it a lot. I wasn't enjoying it at first because I picked a shit tier character class. I don't even remember who it was. But then I started a new character as a swordsman, and it's been going really well. I think I've only died twice, which is an accomplishment for me in Dark Souls. I'm not very good at the game, so it's been going pretty well. Other than that, I've just been working and playing this Magic Sword game.
Alright, so, that's a little bit about what we've been up to. Hopefully you guys have had maybe a more interesting week than ours. Ours has been pretty chill from the looks of it, right?
Yeah, it's been chill.
Yeah.
Working a lot, though.
Yeah, as usual. But now we're going to get into the game, Magic Sword.
Let's do this! Instruction Manual Not Included!
Whoa, calm down. I tried to join in there, it just didn't happen. Alright, so, for those of you that don't know, it was originally an arcade game, and a single-player port was released for the Super NES in 1992. Magic Sword takes place in an unnamed world, it doesn't really tell you, and it's being threatened by the Dark Lord Drakmar, who has control over an evil crystal known as the Black Orb, which would allow him to rule the world. In order to prevent this from happening, the hero, that's us, alright, yeah, known as the Brave One. Hey, come on, we gotta be a little bit heroic here, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty damn heroic all the time. I don't know about you.
Come on. Have you seen me?
Yeah, you're like an anime hero. You're the
just like one of my Japanese
protagonist.
anime characters. All right. But we play as the hero, known as the Brave One, who must scale to the top of the 50-floor tower in which Drakmar resides, known as Dragon Keep. So basically, what this game entails is it's a side-scrolling fantasy arcade game, if I didn't mention that yet.
It's sort of like a beat 'em up, I guess.
Yeah, in
could say.
a way.
It's very beat 'em up esque. You go from left to right and just pretty much kill things. And
yeah, it's side-scrolling fighting. It's got some platforming elements to it, and you do get allies along the way. Now you have a magic meter; it fills up while you're not attacking, and it empties every time you attack. With you have a regular melee attack, and you have a magic attack, I guess you want to say. It's a little bit ranged. And a third attack, which is your special ability, which will wipe the whole screen. But if you don't have a magic book, I think it is, it will use up one of your health bars. So I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, I just thought the button hurt me, and I just never used
I didn't
it.
realize that until I played a little bit, and I was like, "What the hell is going on here?" And I was like, "Why am I dying so fast?" And I was like, "These guys are so OP." But
yeah. Well, that's one thing. The game is pretty
damn hard. Now, one thing about it, I think we played the same version for the SNES, but it had a bunch of different levels in between available. Did it have that for you?
Yeah, you could like skip between up till like the 30th level, I believe, or the 35th or something like that.
Yeah. There were levels that you can choose to start from the beginning, the 3rd floor, 11th, 16th, 23rd, and so on, up to the 33rd floor maximum. So, which
I guess is kind of nice because the game is hard. It's not an easy game. So adding something like that, like let's say I got to the 25th floor and I was like, holy shit, I don't want to go through all that again, and I can just start at the 20th or the 25th floor.
24th, yeah, or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's really difficult, and if you're gonna go one shot all the way through, you're gonna have a hard time. So I guess it's good idea.
It's not gonna happen. Let's be real.
Well, I don't know. I held off pretty good for a while there.
I think I got to like the 15th or something around there on like one run, and then like that's when I started skipping ahead, and I was like, I want to see how much more difficult this gets. And they start throwing like a lot of platforming and platforms that fall in some bullshit ghost enemies that maybe you want to just die.
There are maybe like 8 bosses or so. 1, 2, 3. I think around 8 or 9 bosses, including the final boss. And they're pretty tough. You do have to like jump around and maneuver yourself, you know. Like,
it's like an older game. You got to learn their patterns pretty much, and sometimes they're easier than others, but it worked. You know, it was still fun.
Yeah. So I think that aspect of it, with the level thing, is really good. It helps you out. If you want just something to pass the time, you know, you can just relax. I was actually surprised. I was pretty just chilled out just playing it, which was nice. Another thing in it is allies. When you're going through the levels, there's a bunch of doors, and you can pick up keys along the way from enemies and unlock certain ones and break chests to get items. And there's a handful of allies that you can pick up. There's the archer, the Amazon. They're kind of the same thing. Thief, a ninja, the wizard, who I particularly like the wizard. He was pretty sweet.
He was alright.
Big man, priest, lizard man, who I think is it's rare to get him. You have to have a certain item. I think it's like a diamond ring or something. And a knight. I mean, I had a handful of them. I don't know if you got through most of them.
Yeah, let's see. I did not have the priest. I had the ninja. Ninja, archer, and knight were the ones that I ended up staying with. I did get the lizard man once, surprisingly.
I didn't even get him.
Dude, I got him once. He's really good. Him and the knight were probably my favorites. The whole allies thing, it's really weird. Like, it was interesting. I wasn't expecting it at first, but like it just throws so many at you that they kind of lose their value.
Yeah.
Because like you can just get another one, and there's not really too much that separates them from one another. It's just I went on purely how I liked how they looked, basically, when I chose like mine. So, well, it was okay.
Well, personally, I think it was okay, but personally, they have like their own different abilities. Like, you know, they like different weapons, I guess you could say. Like the wizard, he shoots 4 spinning balls of energy, and like the thing with the allies is they'll fire when you fire your weapon, so it's kind of like an assist, really. They won't attack on their own, as far as I noticed. And
it reminds me of when you're playing like a shoot 'em up game, how sometimes you get like little ships that go around you and shoot with you.
Yeah,
it reminds me of something like that.
Yeah,
and I just don't think it's as good. It's just weird in a like side-scrolling situation. I don't know.
I think
it struck me as weird, but it was cool because it does help you out, definitely.
For sure,
get like a whole nother hit on an enemy, which is good.
I think a big problem it had, like you said, it kind of felt like there was just too much of it. But another thing is, like, the way they have it is there's so many doors to open with keys, and it's so easy to get keys. So you can open a door, and if you, like, they'll come out of the door and they'll stand to the right-hand side. And typically, for most of the levels, you're going to the right. So you got to, like, hop over them. Because if you walk over them, your current ally will disappear and you'll pick up the new one. So let's say you get like the lizard man, or you get like someone cool like the wizard or whatever, and they're really good, and then you walk over them by accident and you totally lose them until you run into them again. I mean, I guess
I felt like it would have been better off if they were just a little more harder to get, and like they do make it kind of cool though, because sometimes if you open one of those doors, enemies pop
This is
out.
true. There's traps.
They'll just like rush you, and it's awful.
There's exploding chests too, and chests that release bats and stuff like that at you.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay. Let's take a second and talk about the fucking bats in this game, because they were the worst enemy.
Are they batshit crazy? I'm
I
just
hate
saying.
you so much. They were the worst enemy because, all right, normally in a video game, when there's bats as an enemy, they fly around you, and like even Castlevania, like some of the older Game Boy ones did it better than this did. Because, like, the bats will stay around you. They'll still stay in your area, but they go out of your hitbox and go back in. It's not just constantly hitting you. In this, they stay, like, right next to you.
Yeah.
And
there's not much escaping them.
It's so hard to escape them because when you get hit, you also fly back. There's a decent knockback in the game when you get hit.
I think it's kind of nice to have that because it gives you some recover time, but with the bats, it makes it really difficult because you get like 6 or so at a time, and like they all do their own like little patterns around each other,
It's awful.
right next to you. Like
It makes me want to weep.
they come out of the chests or wherever like really fast too, so you have like minimal reaction time.
What's
Like, if you
worse
fucked up,
is when
Yeah.
you're on a platform and this happens, because then
Yes.
the knockback, any kind of platforming in this is actually
sometimes
annoying.
Sometimes it's not even out of like a chest. Like I'll hop onto a platform and then they'll just be there because they were like resting like right underneath the platform.
It's bullshit.
And, like,
I hate it.
in like a centimeter wide pixel. Well, a centimeter wide pixel doesn't make sense, but in the size of a pixel, and then all of a sudden they're there, and it's like fuck.
Oh my
But,
god, the bats! I died
I didn't
a
have
lot
much
to the bats.
aside from them. I didn't have any trouble with platforming really. I thought it was pretty decent.
The only thing that made it difficult was the knockback. Really,
Yeah, I did have a few moments where like I'd be walking at a decent speed, and all of a sudden like my walk would get really slow. I don't know what that was about. I don't know if you had that issue.
I didn't have that issue. It
Yeah,
might have been maybe your emulator messing up.
Possibly.
I'm not sure.
Cut that word out. You got to beep that word out.
Yeah. Well, hey, some things it's hard to find copies of. You know.
I know.
So.
I do have an SNES. It's under my bed right now.
Oh yeah, I've got my SNES laying around. I just don't have Magic Sword. I never knew this game existed as a kid. I was only 2 years old when it came out. Shit.
Yeah, me too.
I was playing
I was just
Kirby
a little Matrix.
Superstar. All right, the ultimate SNES game. And then we're gonna get killed because they're gonna be like, "But Chrono Trigger was the best."
I don't know. Personally, I was always playing the Punch Out games. I was addicted to them.
Punch Out was pretty good. I was never good at them, but the games were good.
I was really bad at them for the longest time, and I got amazing. But that's besides the point. We don't want to get too sidetracked. We're gonna start
like,
fighting.
Tooting your own horn there. I'm amazing at Punch Out.
I'm not. I got really good because I had no life for my child. I did have a life, but my friends were always busy after a while.
Yeah, I just didn't have a life. I just played GoldenEye all the time when I was a kid.
Legend of Zelda.
GoldenEye.
We're really getting off topic here.
It's okay. Like, all right. Last thing I had to say was Jet Force Gemini on the N64. We might have to do that game on here because it's been a long ass time since I played it. But I spent hours and hours playing that game. I never really got far because I was kind of dumb. I was like, yeah, video games. But so it'd be kind of cool to go back and see how well or not well it's aged. So we should do that.
Yeah.
It was a cool game. It was like a third-person space shooting thingy. I don't know. It was cool. There's ants. You could be an ant.
You are an ant.
I am an ant. But along with like the things we liked, definitely the worst things in the game was the bats. The bosses were good. Bosses were definitely difficult.
I think
they weren't unmanageable though.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the last boss is, or even all of the bosses. I think I only ended up facing the Chimera and beat him.
I faced the Chimera's on the first floor, unless you mean the one on the 12th floor. I made past the first 3 bosses. There's Chimera on the first floor. On the 4th or 5th floor, I don't remember which one, there's a dragon that you fight.
Yeah.
And then on the 12th floor, there's another Chimera. It's like a skull Chimera.
Okay, I think I beat up to the skull Chimera, and then I jumped ahead and beat the Hydra.
Yeah, I died at level 16 right before the next floor, which I was supposed to have a boss. And then I jumped ahead to, 33, and I played from there.
Did you get to the Hydra?
I got to the Hydra, but I didn't beat it.
Hydra was difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about where I gave it. I'm like, all right, this game is kind of kicking my ass right now.
But it's definitely fun. Like, if you just want a game to chill with, this is the game. It does have its flaws. Another thing I really disliked, I don't know if you noticed, but your character carries a shield.
But it doesn't do anything.
I know, you pick up some... You also... there's another item that you can pick up, and it looks like a shield.
It gives you a bigger shield.
It gives you a bigger shield, but there's no blocking from what I can tell. I tried all the buttons, and nothing happened, because, obviously most of the regular buttons are for attacking, and I tried the buttons that weren't really assigned to anything, and they didn't do anything. You could crouch, which looks like you're defending, and I tried that, but people can hit you, and it does the same amount of damage to you. So basically the shield did nothing. I think that might have been just something they never got around to doing, or they forgot about, but it would have been so helpful to have. Actually, it would have added a little more of
oh yeah, in a game like this,
it would have added a lot to the guard and dodge and hit thing. Giving you a chance.
It's Dark Souls, a 2D platform.
Dark Souls, Magic Sword, the 2D Dark Souls.
Dude, I'd play it.
Too.
That's basically Volgar the Viking. That's actually what this game reminded me a lot. Volgar the Viking was an indie game that came out last year. It was really good, and it was known for being extremely difficult. That was the whole point of its existence. And the setup and even the sprite work and everything is very similar. The color palettes and everything. If you haven't played Volgar the Viking, I highly suggest go playing it if you like a challenge, because it was fucking hard, but it was a good game. And this game reminded me a lot of it, even with the shield and everything. Volgar got that good. You could block with the shield and shit like that. I felt like that would have been that would have added so much to the gameplay here.
I didn't play Volgar personally, but I was watching him when he was streaming it. And it was pretty amazing. And I said to him when we started playing Magic Sword, I was like, this is probably the inspiration for Volgar, if anything. Or at least part of it, because it's so similar. Yeah,
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they were like, let's take this and make it a bit better. Because this is pretty good. I feel like the inspirations for that could be like this game in Dark Souls.
Pretty much. Honestly, if there's a game where everybody dies, you're going to think of Dark Souls as inspiration. Because let's be honest, Dark Souls will kick your ass.
Yeah, and especially because I'm playing through the second one right now, so it's fresh on my mind.
I don't even want to...
It's a good game. You gotta get it. I will,
but I don't even want to tell you guys how much I died in the first one. Shh. Holy crap.
See, I barely played the first one. Because it ran like shit.
Oh, it ran beautifully.
Let's be real. It ran like shit, so I didn't even want to play it. This one runs
you gotta up your system.
Yeah. No,
dude, it
it's
runs
just
beautiful on my computer.
No, get out of here. No. You're fired. I'm finding somebody else.
Okay, there's an opening. If anybody wants to replace me, you can be Karasu 2.
Karasu 2, that's what your name will have to be.
Pretend it's the number 2 or TOO, as in you're also me. And then it's we're one and the same forever.
Just a little scared.
Good.
Oh, one thing that I noticed with this game, some of the pickups, the items... What did they do?
I wasn't sure, to be honest. I haven't found
I didn't even know how to use them.
I tried buttons and I wasn't able to use them. I think they might have been either passive kind of effects or they did nothing.
Or it might have been a button combo, down B.
Oh, this is possible. I didn't even think about that
I didn't think about that when I was playing either.
Because I was just laying down and relaxing and playing this with controller in hand. So
yeah, that's how I played it pretty much. It's the best way to do it.
It is. Also, another thing, for those of you that may be interested in this that do not have a Super Nintendo or an emulator to play it, it was also re-released, I believe, 4 years ago now on the Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Network. So I don't know if they're still on there, but you can definitely check.
Yeah, they should be.
Yeah.
And there was also a few... other ports. Like there was a port to phones, there was a port to PSP, and a port to PS2 and Xbox. So the game is readily available.
Yeah.
Like if you really want to go play it, you can. You know, I guess that kind of says something about this game, that it did make it onto all of these remakes and ports and all that shit. Like maybe
it's one of those ones that survives through the ages, you know?
Yeah, because I mean,
it may be
playing it,
little known, but
yeah, I definitely feel like it's more of a hidden gem sort of thing, because it definitely was fun. If you're into more challenging games like this, then I'd say the game is for you. You've got plenty of methods to go out there and play it, and let's be real, you can also just download it. I mean, I didn't say that.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. But anyway, also another thing is the thing about this is I did mention in the beginning that the Super NES one was only a single player only port. The arcade version, you know, you could play alongside another person, and I forget what they became a specific class character, whatever, when they played with you. So
yeah,
but you know, it's always more fun with more people. And the version that is on Xbox Live Arcade and on PSN, if they're still there, was the arcade version. So that
really?
So if you get those and you wanna like hook up another controller, you know, you'll be able to play with a friend or something like that. If you just want to have like, I
kind of want to try that, because
thing.
this game would definitely be a lot more fun to play.
It would.
I feel like
I think so. It's one of those games that you could probably
anything is fun to play. Well, not anything,
no.
but most things are fun to play.
This is true.
And like, it was a Capcom game. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
I just brought up the wiki page and I was like, oh, it's a Capcom game. Cool.
Yeah, pretty old school.
Capcom, they did good stuff back in the day. They're all right now.
They're okay now.
What do they even make now? I don't even know.
Lots of Final Fantasy. Too much Final
They
Fantasy.
don't do Final Fantasy.
Oh, right. Fuck. Can we cut that out?
That's Square Enix. What are you talking about? Get out of here. No, it's staying in there.
Can we cut that out? I'll kill you.
No, it's staying in there. You're fired
I'll kill
as well. Oh, they do Monster Hunter. So, yeah, they're still good.
Yeah.
And Street Fighter and Resident Evil and Devil May Cry.
And, yes, Devil May Cry. They do, don't they do
Devil
Bayonetta?
May Cry. Who cares about that, right?
Or is that someone else that does Bayonetta?
Bayonetta is Platinum Games.
Oh, that's right.
Yep, somebody else. It does give you that sort of Capcom feel.
It does. It feels like it.
Yeah. So our final opinions on this game. Is it worth playing, Mike?
Honestly, you know, there's a lot of indie games out there and other new games out, but, you know, if you just want something that's gonna, like, just to relax, something that you don't really have to think about, you know, these were simpler times, and I think it's a good way to just chill out, so I definitely recommend it. It was fun. I enjoyed it, despite its slight difficulties. Overall, I think it beats its problems, really.
I think I'm going to actually not suggest it.
No,
mainly because, honestly, the game is so similar to Volgar the Viking, you could go play that and get what this game could be. Don't get me wrong, the game isn't bad, and I did enjoy it. It had good art, it had good music and everything, but there's already stuff out there that does it better with the same aesthetic. So I'm going to go with, don't go play Volgar.
This is a good point, I guess. I guess I'll agree with that slightly. Agree.
Yeah, you already made
I'm saying
your
agreeing
decision.
to disagree.
You made your
I'm saying agreeing to disagree, noob.
So thank you everybody for listening, and I hope that you enjoyed this week's episode. We have a few announcements for the end of the episode here. Our first one is we are going to be a weekly podcast now.
That's right. We're going to be switching to a weekly podcast as opposed to the original 2-week plan. So you can look forward to us every week now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this week's game, Magic Sword. We will be doing suggestions. We mentioned that at the end of last week's podcast, and this goes for the future, foreseeable future. You can suggest games to us on Twitter at IMNincluded or to our email imnincluded@gmail.com. You can send us suggestions of games to play, and we'll take a look at it, and we'll take a pick from there, and you will get mentioned, a shout out in the podcast as well.
Next week's game was suggested by Chimotoki92 on Twitter. We're going to be playing Electronic Superjoy.
It's a little bit of a fun game, and hopefully you guys stick around. It should be fun.
And the last big announcement for this podcast here is that we are officially on iTunes now.
So yeah, that's right. Don't forget to download, rate, and review our podcast for us. It'll really be...
Rating and reviewing is the easiest way to help us out. It's the easiest way to get us noticed and on the front page of iTunes. So make sure if you have some extra time to do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Do it to it. And with that, we conclude this podcast. So thank you again for tuning in, everybody. I'm Karasu.
And I'm Pazzi.
And this is
Instruction Manual Not Included. Alright, I'm feeling it. Okay.
Unlock the secrets of society. Watch it burn.
And thank you to Tyler Marcoux for letting us use the music.
Laughing at the world of ignorance. Crimson with pain and compassion for all of them.